Nowhere else in the world I've ever heard the word. Just like gone on YouTube, to give your brain some new food. Hello people, and welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time on the channel, a special welcome to you. I say you check out the rest of my videos. If you like what you see, give them a thumbs up, leave a comment, but more than anything, I'm asking that you subscribe to the channel. Today's video is a bit more relaxed. Today's video is a bit more, I wouldn't say comical, it is educational and it is fascinating. This morning, Sunday, it is Sunday morning here in Switzerland. By the way, it's summer here in Switzerland. So as much as I'm not getting the Caribbean Jamaican vibe, I'm still getting the Caribbean Jamaican weather, and it does make me feel more at home. So I had to put that in this video, because we're talking about here in Zurich, Switzerland. We're experiencing 80s and 90s for the last couple of days, so I'm loving it. I'm not complaining. So as you could tell by the thumbnail, today's video is about a word in Jamaica that is fascinating. I've never heard it used or applied anywhere else in the world, and I've traveled and I've lived in quite a few different countries around the world, and it was only in Jamaica that I've heard this word. But before we get into the word, let me tell you how I came about deciding to do this video. So this morning, me and my wife woke up, and a part of our morning, including browsing online social media. In particular, this morning we was browsing TikTok. We came across an interesting TikTok where the guy was saying he gives Vybz Kartel more ratings than William Shakespeare. So I thought, this sounds interesting. Let me listen to it some more. So according to this guy, not just Vybz Kartel, but Jamaican dancehall artists on a whole, he was saying that as much as he's not Jamaican, he find the language and the lingua very interesting, because like Shakespeare, a lot of Jamaican dancehall artists use a lot of words that researchers over the years spend many decades trying to figure out what context did Shakespeare means. And when it comes to Jamaican artists, you have to be a Jamaican to actually get it. And it doesn't require years of researching or studying to understand what that particular word means. If you're Jamaican, there's just certain things, even though it's not among the vocabulary listings. If you're a Jamaican, you just know that that is a word, and I understand what he's saying or what she's saying, and that is just how it is. So as my wife and I were talking, my wife, she's Jamaican, grew up in England, born and raised in England with Jamaican parents. So when you're born from Jamaican parents in a foreign country, it does reduce your Jamaican knowledge, because you're only relying on your parents' telltales and other children that you go to school with that are from Jamaica, and Jamaicans that migrate to this whatever particular country you're living in. But growing up in Jamaica, born in Jamaica, you're kind of enriched with the lingua, the knowledge, the culture. So oftentimes, my wife does ask me a question like, what does that mean? And then oftentimes, I don't have to explain to her. She knows independently what that means from being a Jamaican. So we're going to get into it. So I was saying to my wife, after we finished listening to this guy, I was saying, I agree with this guy to an extent, because there are just certain Jamaican terminologies and phrases that we use that only Jamaican or Caribbean people can understand. So I says, for an example, my mom used to say, when I was a child and they would have adult conversation, my mother used to say, well, we're not dinar dough. And as a Jamaican child, you kind of get what they mean, dinar dough. But if you should say that to any other culture, maybe any other nationality around the world, They would be like D nor thou. What does D means? What does thou means? And that's what makes that term fascinating and unique, because D doesn't mean anything by itself and thou doesn't mean anything by itself. But D nor thou simply means they're not coming or they're not going. It's not right and it's not wrong. It's not up and it's not down. So it's like D nor thou is one of the phrases that we would use in Jamaica. But that's not the word stroke phrase that I'm here talking about today. The word that I'm here talking about today is a word that I've only heard in Jamaica, and I believe only Jamaicans and or maybe Caribbean people. I haven't been to many Caribbean countries, so I don't know if they use that word in Caribbean countries. But nowhere else in the world I've ever heard the word clyde being used. So I leave that one with you Jamaicans and or Caribbean people for a minute. Clyde. I don't know how it's spelled, I just know how to say it. So I would spell it. It can be spelled many different ways, but I'd preferably spell it with a K because you're talking about Patois and you have to be a bit aggressive in your pronunciation. So Clyde. Now, for all of you non-Jamaicans or young Jamaicans who may not know this word Clyde, that might be scratching your head, I'm going to describe how do you use Clyde and in what context. So Clyde is referred to an overwhelming, preferably sweet taste in your mouth that you cannot bear anymore. So let's say, for example, a big tablespoon of glucose in your mouth. Glucose is sugar, but having that volume of it could be a bit clyding, as we would say in Jamaica, or too much honey one time, or too much condensed milk one time. It's an overwhelming, overbearing, preferably sweet taste. I've never heard it applied to anything sour or salt. It has to be something that the taste buds would normally love, but it's too much and it probably would make you want to, throw up. So that's how we use Clyde in Jamaica. We would say, yeah, it's good, but it Clyde in man. Or yeah, it's good, but you get Clyde from that. Clyde. I have to lick my lips because the next word that's going to come up is a word in Jamaica that only in Jamaica I've ever heard it. It's what we call squall, white squall. It's when one's lip is dry and it's more from hunger. In Jamaica we'd say, white squall, I kill you. Squall. Don't know the origin of white squall, but I know what it means. Don't know Clyde, where it come from or why, because I've searched for this word. I've searched for it in every different possible spelling that I believe it could come up with. And then I was thinking about, there must be an alternative English word that would describe that. And me being a wordsmith, I was lost for words, I was just kind of like, well, the only way I could describe Clyde is an overwhelming stroke, overbearing taste that the body repulse, even though it actually enjoy that taste, but at a smaller volume. So it's when something good is too much. In Jamaica we say, well, I know you like it, but be careful before it Clyde you. So for all my university students and or not, sometimes you don't have to be university scholar to be intelligent or be word savvy, but I would like one of you guys, or as many of you guys, to tell me if you've ever heard the word Clyde before. And not only that, give me an English word, an English speaking word that independently would describe Clyde, that would describe that word. yeah, that's pretty much my video for today, people. Like I say, the weather here is phenomenal. I'm loving it. The whole family is enjoying it. For that reason, I'm dressed like this today. Got up this morning, was on the balcony, taking in the view. The morning is early. Nobody is out doing barbecue or anything like that yet, but I'm sure come midday, people will be out. Kids will definitely be out playing with water and everything else, you know, to just embrace the summer sun. You know, we're black people, as much as we love the summer, we try as much to stay out of the sun as we possibly can. Let's just say we were blessed and are thankful with melanin, you know, so we love the heat, but it's not necessary for us to be in the midst of the sun. So I'm going to spend the rest of the day, people, just chilling, sipping on some cocktail or something refreshing. When it comes to this kind of weather, doesn't require much eating, but you do nibble. But it's, you know, my recommendation for you guys today, if you're experiencing similar weather wherever you are in the world, is hydrate. That's pretty much it, people. Let me know what you think of this short and brief vlog. As you know, on my channel, I appreciate thumbs up, thumbs down, agreement and disagreement, because at the end of the day, people, each one teach one.